What is up, my friends? It is Friday, it is the late night agenda, and it is a pleasure to be here with you as always. I hope you've got some fun plans for the weekend, but of course, your plans on Sunday, well, they should be with the Reds. We're going to be here all day on Sunday from 1 p.m. right the way through. We're going to take you through Liverpool, Brighton, then Manchester City, Arsenal, and hopefully, when we celebrate at the end of the day, we're celebrating Liverpool being back top of that Premier League table. I hope you all had a nice day so far. We have a lot to get through today. More information starting to come out about Ruben Amorim being Liverpool's preferred choice. Jurgen Klopp, of course, had his pre-match press conference today as well. We'll be talking about that, giving you some updates on injuries, a little bit what Jurgen had to say about Xabi Alonso, and the usual conversation, my friends. Great to be here, and we're closing in. As you can see, we're only 12 away now from 251,000 subscribers. So I ask you early doors, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Mark as well saying the same. Thank you, Mark. 28 months as a member. Appreciate that, mate. And there was another new member, Dino Damiani. Thank you, mate, for becoming a member of Anfield Agenda FC as well. Appreciate you. There's a load to get through. I mean, what a difference 24-hour makes in the world of football. Yesterday, sure, we were all talking about Alonso still, and then shock horror, today he announces at Bayer Leverkusen that he is staying. I'm going to give you his transcript of what he said soon, and then Jurgen, of course, was speaking a little bit as well. It does look like Ruben Amorim's that guy, but my question is it going to be Amorim and INACIO? Because we need INACIO, let's be honest. So I think get it done. That's what tonight's stream is all about. FSG, Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, no time to hang around. Get this done. Get it done quickly. Pay what needs to be paid to Sporting Lisbon and get Ruben Amorim installed as Liverpool's next manager. That's how confident I am in Ruben Amorim, but I know a lot of people still have some reservations, and that's what we're here for, to talk about it, to hopefully alleviate some of those concerns and give and share information regarding what to expect. Michaela Drury, thank you for joining Anfield Agenda Ultras, Michaela. Hopefully see you in the Discord group soon, and thank you very much for that. Izzy, thank you for your super chat today. I hope you got the price gun fixed in the supermarket you're working. I know you're having a bit of trouble with the printer. Subscribe and hit the like button, you wonderful people, said Izzy. PC Drat, how are you, my friend? Said, good evening, my lord, hope all is well. I'm good. Good form today, thank you, mate. Lots of positives in the world of Anfield Agenda today, so that's always good. And of course, it's the weekend. It means Liverpool are back in action really soon. And I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch the preview. That went out at 6 o'clock. Would love to know your thoughts on my projected 11 score predictions as well. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. There is a load for us to get through. I'm very much with Tom Ishmael, who said, just pay the release clause and get it done. And on the release clause, it is around £17 million that would have to be paid to Sporting Lisbon to trigger Ruben Amorim's release clause. Happy Easter holidays, yes. I hope you're all ready for a load of chocolate this weekend. I do. It's probably my favourite of all the holidays, Easter, because it's the one that usually involves the most chocolate. Has Amorim talked about Liverpool yet? Not that I'm aware of, Troy. I've not seen any direct quotes from Mr. Ruben Amorim. A little bit here, though, which I found interesting from The Athletic. I'm sure you guys have probably seen this, but just to give you an idea of how Liverpool are weighing up candidates, who they're looking at, and who scores highly on Liverpool's list. This comes in from The Athletic and said, New Brighton's Roberto De Zerbi, Newcastle's Eddie Howe, and Lens' Frank Hasse have profiled well in Liverpool's data model, but are considered less likely to make Liverpool's final shortlist. So, look, it doesn't surprise me. Particularly Roberto De Zerbi scores high on that list. Eddie Howe as well, no surprise there. But as has been pointed out there by The Athletic, I wouldn't be stressing. I don't think we're going after any of those three. It definitely does look today like it's Ruben Amorim. Many journalists have come out today speaking about it. Of course, we had that news broke last night by Paul Joyce as well. And I just want to read you out Xabi Alonso's statement, because he was talking today at his Bayer Leverkusen press conference, and he has confirmed that he is indeed staying at Bayer Leverkusen. This is a little bit of what Xabi had to say. It's been a season where we've had a lot of speculation regarding my future. Until now, we've had so many games, been pretty busy and focused, and I wanted to reflect during the international break. Last week, I had a very good meeting with Simon Rolfs and Fernando Caro when I informed them of my decision to continue being the coach of Bayer Leverkusen. For sure, all of the decisions you need to analyse well. I tried to make the right ones. I tried to make them in a natural way. And at this moment, I felt that it is the best place for me to develop as a coach. I'm a young coach, but I have to feel it. Right now, I feel that this is the right place. I have to thank the management, the club. They've been really, really supportive, and I feel really respected by all of the departments. The fans showed great support during the last year in difficult moments. I felt that, and they've all been part of the reasons why we start to dream and have a great season, and we've actually been pushing for that. Great staff helping me day by day to work better and improve and to prepare the team. Basically just confirming that he is staying for another season at Bayer Leverkusen, which I've got to say, I totally respect. It's disappointment, of course it is. But as we've said, he's not going to Bayern Munich. Like I told everybody, he absolutely wouldn't. And Florian Plettenberg is going to have to get a spade out to start filling in that hole he dug. But look, confirmation there today that Xabi Alonso is indeed staying at Bayer Leverkusen for another season. Does that mean he ends up at Real Madrid? That seems to be the perceived wisdom here, yes. Evening, Craig, said Tom Judge. Hope you're well. I'm brilliant. Thank you, Tom. Brilliant. So, couple of bits and pieces that I want to announce. We are this close to announcing the show in Liverpool. It will be in Liverpool City Centre. And it's most likely going to be August the 4th. We're just waiting on one final bit of confirmation from the venue. And once we get that confirmed, we'll let you guys know about tickets and stuff. Most likely going to be the Hot Water Comedy Club. That's who we're speaking with about the show. I think it's a perfect venue for what we'd like to do. They've got many options for us there as well. So we will let you guys know when that is confirmed. Tickets will go on sale next week, I believe, for the Belfast show. So keep an eye out for that. And then we're talking about a possible Dublin show and just still trying to pin down the Cardiff venue. So fingers crossed we'll have some more announcements on them soon. Did you guys see that Fernando Torres was spending time at the AXA training facility today learning from Mr. Jurgen Klopp? Rousing the Cop posted, Fernando Torres will be at the AXA training centre to learn from Jurgen Klopp today and tomorrow before attending the game against Brighton on Sunday. No surprise there. This is often done. Young coaches go around, spend time with more seasoned coaches, shall we say. And no surprise that Fernando Torres wants to try and learn a little bit from Jurgen Klopp. I mean, we all would give the opportunity. So yeah, good move that. Well, I say good move. It's not a move, but you get my drift. Tom Judge, evening Craig, hope you're well. Appreciate that, Tom. Pranav, how are you, sir? Ruben Amorim's release clause at Sporting Lisbon is worth €50 million, £12.8 million, dropping to $10 million in 2025. But we can't wait till 2025, so we've got to pay the I think it's €17 million, but either way, there or thereabouts. And look, I think we will. If he's the right candidate, go pay it. But I have to say, what we can't have happening here is Ruben Amorim getting away. Like, there are going to be a lot of coaches in demand this summer, and he's going to be one of them. And I'm sure we will move quickly, but it really is important now that Michael Edwards, that Richard Hughes, and of course FSG make sure that they conduct this process as quickly as possible and that we get the number one target. We move on. Let's get behind whoever the club gets in, said Jonesy lad. I think it will be Ruben Amorim, but as you said, I will get behind whoever the club bring in, but I can't lie. There are some candidates that I find far more appealing than others. Alex Macklin, thank you for the super chat, mate. You didn't put in a comment, but really appreciate your support, dude. And by the way, again, last night, wow. I want to say thank you to Barry, obviously, to Brian, to everybody else. Last night was a record night on the channel. I don't know what we did to deserve that support, but thank you all so much. One thing that I can say that Chris Bascom has also put out there is it is unlikely that Julian Nagelsmann will become the next Liverpool manager. And I'm okay about that, as long as it's Amorim. I would put Julian Nagelsmann fairly high up on my list, in all honesty, but it feels like it's Amorim at this point, you know. Every journalist direction seems to be honing in on Ruben Amorim. But Chris Bascom there confirming that it's unlikely that Julian Nagelsmann will be Liverpool's next manager. Would you back Thomas Frank as manager? There's certainly a lot to like about the way Thomas Frank goes about his business. And I like the way he conducts himself as a coach as well. But I don't know. I have reservations on Thomas Frank. Because I don't want this to become another Brendan Rodgers type situation. And I know people can say to me, well, Craig, Ruben Amorim's kind of that kind of figure. But he's not. he gets on a lot better with his players. And we'll get through it tonight. We'll try to understand Ruben Amorim, as a person a little bit more. Can we sign Howard Webb? No, he's lifetime contract to Manchester United, as I'm sure you're aware. Eddie Howe, no. No. That didn't mean that Liverpool were looking to bring in Eddie Howe. That just means when Liverpool had a set of criteria that they measured coaches against, Eddie Howe was one of those that scored well. Doesn't mean that we're going to go after Eddie Howe. So don't worry about that one. And the same Newcastle fans, we're not coming to poach your manager, don't worry. Izzy said last night was crazy good. It was mental, Izzy. Mental. Honestly, it was a day I never ever expected to have on the channel financially. And again, thank you so much. Hansi Flick says freedom. So his name never really came up too much during this process, at least publicly. Again, I'm sure Hansi Flick, along with many others, would have been part of the search. But I think Hansi Flick is probably a stronger contender for the Barcelona job, based off stuff I've read about from Spain over the past month or so. But I don't want Hansi Flick at Liverpool, to be honest. I'm kind of glad we're not getting another German coach at all, because let's be honest about this. We've had the best. No point in going for an inferior German coach. So let's move to Portugal. Let's bring in Ruben Amorim and Gonçalo Inácio with him. That would be lovely. Thank you very much. Right. What are we away? 9 subscribers away from 151k, my friends. I wanted to draw your attention before we get stuck into the coach stuff tonight to just something I picked up. Former referee John Moss has departed as the director of top Premier League officials after a fallout with some of the leading English referees. That worries me, because this screams, you know, we often talk about player power at clubs. Well, this kind of bangs of a bit of ref power during the PGMOL. Again, just to read it out. Former referee John Moss departed as the director of top Premier League officials after a fallout with some of the leading English referees. Maybe he had the cheek to tell them they were crap, or they weren't doing their jobs properly. It does seem like some of these guys have very fragile egos. One referee in particular, doing a bit of research on, doesn't like to be corrected. One of the top referees in the English game apparently gets a huff if he is corrected for making a mistake. I'm not going to name that person out loud. But I think you probably have a fair idea who it is. He is a little bit vain by all accounts. But yeah, one of them doesn't like being told he did that wrong. Great show, Craig. Thank you, Alex. It's great to be here with you guys, honestly. I woke up today and I didn't know whether I was going to be able to stream because I had a really bad throat and chest, but it cleared as the day went on. And again, I apologise there was no 4 p.m. stream today, but we had electrician and a plumber in the house because our shower broke. So they were working and I couldn't stream while they were working because the electricity was getting turned on and off. So it would have been a nightmare, really. Your take on Zidane. Don't want him anywhere near Liverpool Football Club for various reasons. 1, he doesn't speak English. 2, I don't really like Zidane from the coaching perspective, and I don't think he'd strike a chord with the Liverpool fans. I just don't think it's a good move. Yeah, Ruben Amorim, by the way, confirmed does speak English, because this was something we were chatting about a little bit yesterday. He definitely does speak English. So what about Arne Slot? He was somebody that did quite well as well with regards to the metrics that Liverpool were using. You probably remember Arne Slot was close to Spurs at one point. He was being talked about as a potential manager. I wonder if it just came maybe a little bit too soon for him. I know it's a big leap to go from the Portuguese Primeira Liga to the Premier League, but I think it's an even bigger one to go from managing one of the Dutch clubs, as United are finding out at this moment in time. So I think he will have some big jobs in the future, but not now. So yeah, he wasn't one that I think will make it through to the final process, but let's wait and see. Hi Craig, on Edwards, do you think he won't be doing much to do with Liverpool as his head, according to Joyce, turned by the multi-club model, more focus on FSG? So the thing about Michael Edwards is, if Liverpool wanted to bring him back into the fold in any way, shape or form, they had to basically make it worth his while. And part of that was, of course, the search for a second club, and maybe even future clubs on top of that, for FSG. So yeah, you are right, it is interesting his job description as CEO of football for FSG, but he will oversee some of the bigger projects at Liverpool Football Club. But the day-to-day running and stuff will be probably more Richard Hughes, who is the sporting director. how do I pronounce this one? Noidir said, INACIO and Diamande package deal with Amorim, I'll take it. So on Diamande, I don't think we could afford Diamande based off some of the numbers that I've seen being mentioned. Of the Sporting Lisbon centre-backs, Diamande seems to be the one that's attracting a lot of attention from many clubs, whereas INACIO is a little bit quieter. One thing that's kind of been taken over in my brain over the past 24 hours since we learned about Amorim being the number one choice pretty much is the centre-back situation. So looking into his system again last night just to confirm, it is the 3-4-3 system that he prefers to play with. And as we spoke about yesterday, that system with Amorim is very proficient at conducting a low block. But it does play with three centre-backs. So I would suggest we're probably going to see a couple of centre-backs come through the door this summer. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe Sepp van den Berg comes back into the fold. I just think that with the system he plays, we're going to need to sign two centre-backs. So I expect that to be an area that we look to get active in pretty soon in the summer transfer window. Thoughts on Tuchel? As I said earlier on, like, he's a good coach. Obviously, he's a Champions League winning coach. But it would just feel like a BTEC Klopp to me. And this is just a personal opinion. I don't like Thomas Tuchel. I can't take to him. There's something about him that just, I don't know. I just don't like him. And I can't put my finger on it. But it's just a personal opinion. Can't lie, very disappointed we couldn't get Alonso, said Ashley Dooley. Ashley, my friend, I don't think you're alone. Most people in the chat tonight, I'm sure, myself included, are disappointed with the Alonso situation. But I'm not saying this makes it any better. But I do respect that he's staying at Leverkusen. Whether it's a tactical thing for the Madrid job down the line, I don't know. But, you know, he hasn't turned down Liverpool to go to another club. And that somewhat softens the blow. But it is definitely still a blow. A lot of us had our heart set on Xabi Alonso, and I was certainly one of them. How about Gary O'Neill? He was a coach at Liverpool. Yeah, we touched on the Gary O'Neill situation last night. Again, I think it's probably just a little bit too soon for Gary O'Neill. He's been talked about in Manchester United circles as a coach. Now, interestingly, they didn't say head coach when they were speaking about United having an interest in Gary O'Neill. I don't know if they'd bring O'Neill in as a number 2 or something and then promote him, but he'd been linked with United recently. Now, I don't know how strong that link is. There was something else there, actually, I wanted to go through when we're talking about coaches. Yes, Bayern Munich. I heard something last night that could be quite interesting. Bayern Munich are apparently weighing up the possibility of bringing in Ralf Rangnick for a short time. Now, I don't know if that's because they still think in a year they may be in with a better chance to get Xabi Alonso, or if there's another reason, but Ralf Rangnick has been suggested to the Bayern board as somebody they should look at seriously. Just go through some more of your comments. I think if Amorim comes in, we're going to sell 2 forwards and buy 2 centre-backs. I think we could probably envision selling a winger if Amorim comes in, yes. I think we could find a way, if Mo signed a new deal, to incorporate Mo into Amorim's system, or find a way, because let's be honest, it's Mo. You find a way. But I do think you're right on the centre-backs. It certainly does lend itself to us needing another couple of centre-backs. I can't stand Tuchel. He's a douchebag, said Izzy. There you go. Izzy saying it like it is. I love it. Well played, Izzy. Melissa Reddy. Somebody who, again, I've got the utmost respect for as a journalist. Melissa Reddy said, Liverpool's extensive contacts in Portugal mark Ruben Amorim out as a leading candidate. His progressive style, how quickly he won over the Sporting fans despite his Benfica history. His first full season in charge, which has shades of what Xabi Alonso was doing now. So, again, I have spoken before about Liverpool's extensive contacts, mainly through the help of Pep Linders as well, in Portugal. And Ruben Amorim has been somebody that has always been high up on Liverpool's list. I don't think anyone's going to hide the fact that Alonso was the number 1 choice. I think we can all agree in an ideal world, Xabi Alonso would have been the guy. But he made his decision. We have to respect that. And I've always said to you, since this process has been underway, for me, it was Xabi Alonso, then Ruben Amorim, and then quite a drop to the next candidates, in my opinion. But I am happy that Amorim seems to be the preferred choice. I'm not going to say the next manager yet. I'm getting close to saying the next manager, I won't lie to you, but not quite yet. Craig, everyone has been linked with United as well as Southgate today. Today I read that Zidane was linked with United. I think Zidane would be a better fit for United than he would be for Liverpool. I don't think he'd be a good cultural fit for the Liverpool job. Paul Vowles, how are you, sir? It's a good evening, Craig. What about Unai Emery? You won't get him out of Aston Villa. Aston Villa have very ambitious owners. Obviously, Unai Emery and Aston Villa are on the verge of Champions League qualification. I don't think he's going to leave that project. Much like we spoke about Ange Postecoglou as well. They've gone in there, clubs that have, in Unai Emery's case, I guess, not really taken a chance on him, but certainly made a big play for him. And I think they're building towards something there, and I don't think Unai Emery wants to depart that Villa project just yet. And again, I can understand it. Sporting losing, and I mean, we're not going to get this petty, are we? Like, if Sporting Lisbon lose a game, we're not going to say, let's not sign Amorim because Sporting lost a game of football. It's Portugal. Come back to me at the end of the game, because I've watched enough Portuguese football to know going 1-0 down early on against a weaker team often ends up in a 2 or 3-1 victory, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Let's see what the 90 minutes brings. Craig, imagine Southgate to Liverpool. No, absolutely not. I refuse to even acknowledge it. As you've said, you'd consider not supporting. It would just be the worst cultural fit ever. Gareth Southgate to Liverpool just would not work on any level. He just wouldn't endear himself to us as fans at all. Right, I want to get you through some of what Jurgen Klopp said today in his press conference, because as I said, it's been a very busy day, and Jurgen was speaking about some of the players who've been out injured and a bit of confirmation on somebody who we spoke about last night, on Ibrahim Konate. So this is what Klopp will have to say. Curtis Jones, I'm not sure if he's available, but he will be in training. This is the part that I was looking for, though. Ibrahim Konate was just an extra rest day, so nothing to worry about there, which is good news, because I was concerned. We didn't see Ibrahim Konate in the pictures yesterday, but Jurgen has confirmed he just had an extra rest day. He went on to say the other boys from next week, step by step, I think they will join parts of team training and then team training, so we'll see what we do with that. They're not too far away, but not in yet. None of them was close to team training, but they all make steps and it's positive. Now, we did go into more detail on Stefan Bajcetic, and I will go into that in a little while. I just want to come back into some of the comments because I'm afraid to miss some super chats and stuff. Leroy, how are you? Leroy Sinclair from Cabbagetown. I like it, Leroy. I must smell though, right? Cabbagetown, I'd imagine there's an awful bang of that. Hey Craig, could Richard Hughes fancy Howe for the next Liverpool manager? Thoughts? Well, we mentioned earlier on that he did score highly. So for those of you who came in a little bit late, let me just read this out to you. And it came in from The Athletic. Brighton's Roberto De Zerbi, Newcastle's Eddie Howe, and Lens' Frank Hasse have profiled well in Liverpool's data model, but are considered less likely to make Liverpool's shortlist. So, look, the problem with Eddie Howe, the biggest problem is Tyndall, for me. Imagine having to look at that lad every week on the sideline. Nah. I like Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe's a good guy, but I think he's at a club that he's in the right place for now. And I don't want Eddie Howe as Liverpool manager, to be honest. I like him. He comes across a real proper footballing guy, a decent man as well, but not for me at Liverpool. It's coming back down to a cultural fit again, and I just don't see Howe as being a cultural fit. What else have we got? Amorim plays with two wingers in this game. Maybe he's already preparing for Liverpool. Wingers or wing backs? Because usually in that system of his, there's wing backs in it. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Look, we'll go through some more information. So let's start with this. This comes from Ian Doyle of The Echo. The favoured target is now Sporting Lisbon boss Ruben Amorim, whose success in Portugal and style of play have made him an attractive proposition. Liverpool know they cannot afford to waste time should they decide Amorim is their man. And that's kind of the angle I wanted to go with tonight, is no wasting time, no hanging about. We all knew that we had to wait for Alonso. If it was going to be Xabi Alonso, we knew we had to wait. We don't have to wait for Amorim. We can get this sorted. We can come to an agreement, pay that release clause to Sporting, and make sure that at the end of the season he departs from Sporting Lisbon to Liverpool. No hanging around, please. Get it done. We can't afford another situation like Timo Werner or Jude Bellingham, or lots of talk, but no action. We do have a sporting director now. The club always said they wanted to make sure that a sporting director was in place before the managerial search, and to be fair, they've been true to their word. But now that we do have the sporting director position filled, as well as, of course, Michael Edwards being back, time to act, time to get it done. Craig, there was an article I've read and stated about having a stopgap manager so Klopp can have his rest and then come back after a season. I can't see it, but wondered if you had any thoughts on it. No, it won't happen. So I don't know what Jurgen's next move is going to be, but I have an inkling it might be international management, and that's for a couple of reasons. One, it could be the right time for him to take over, his national team there after the Euros. Also, the less hectic lifestyle. And Jurgen's spoken many times about not wanting to be a manager into his 60s and 70s. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm an idealist in this, and I think Jurgen Klopp has had his three great loves, if you want, in Mainz, Borussia Dortmund and Liverpool. They always say you're entitled to have three great loves in your life. So, I don't know. Maybe Kloppo goes into the German national team job. Or maybe I'm just burying my head in the sand and I don't want to think of Jurgen Klopp anywhere else, club level. Sporting just equalised. See? Now relax. All good. Yeah, but I don't think Klopp will come back like that. I mean, and also it'd be a weird year, because it would be almost like the owners and the club are saying that we can write off a year. And let's be honest, we can't. We can't write off a year. Not in the new Champions League format as well. So, Kloppo today was talking a little bit about Alonso himself. Now, he wouldn't really go into detail, obviously. He didn't want to be pushed too much on it. But he did say he's doing an incredible job there. They have a great team and will probably keep the team together. I understand that he wants to do that. For the other stuff, nothing I have to say about it, to be honest. So it does, again, look like they're going to try and keep their star players at Leverkusen for that season in the Champions League anyway. And Jurgen, speaking there today, said that it looks like they're going to be able to do that. So maybe they won't be rated for the likes of Hincapié, Florian Wirtz, and a couple of other players who've been very prolific this season and very, very good in that Leverkusen team. Craig, you should manage Liverpool in my opinion. Dude, I'd get us relegated. Imagine that. Imagine me, a huge Liverpool fan that I am, being responsible for the club falling from grace. Man, there's no coming back from that. And also, I'd be a terrible manager. I know it's off topic, but did you hear UEFA potentially increasing the squad size for Euro 2024? Yeah, I heard about it. There is a coaches' conference, I believe, coming up next week that Gareth Southgate's going to be part of, along with a lot of other international managers. And yes, they are feeling that there's a consensus. There's been a lot of injuries this season for various reasons, and they certainly want to push to have the squads put back up to 26. Because if my memory's right, FIFA did raise the quota during COVID times and allowed them to have 26. Now it's gone back down to 23, but with the season that's in and with the amount of injuries, I think the coaches are pushing to have that bigger squad, and I can understand it. Obviously, it doesn't apply to Ireland because we're not in the Euros, but I can understand it from Southgate's perspective or any other coaches. It has been a season with a lot of injuries. Do you think Klopp could return as sporting director? No, I don't. Look, I don't mean this to sound harsh, but we need to just forget about Klopp after he leaves. And I don't mean that as in forget about his legacy or anything. I mean, when the new manager comes in, whomever that may be, if it's Ruben Amorim or anybody else, we need to just not have that Jurgen Klopp shadow hanging over them. Whether that's talking about Jurgen coming back to the club at some point, just enjoy Jurgen while he's here. Remember everything he's achieved and we've achieved since he's been here, and then, depart and let him go and wish him the best on his journey for the rest of his life. And hopefully he comes back as a fan to attend games or manages the Legends team or whatever down the line. But yeah, as sad as it is, we've got to just let it go. Do you think Arsenal can win with City's injuries? It's a huge game, as we know. And do I think Arsenal can go to the Etihad and win? Honestly, not really. I think they might not lose, but if they win, I mean, it will be a huge confidence boost for them to go to the Etihad and beat Manchester City. I don't think they will, though. I think it's either going to be a draw or a City win. Maybe you guys think differently, but for me, that's where my thoughts are. I think we're going to be on top of that Premier League table come Sunday evening, and I don't think we're going to give it up again, unless, of course, somebody plays before us. But I think this is it. This is the weekend that we push on and carry on and win the league from. That's how confident I am going into the weekend. Oh, we hit 251. I didn't even notice that. Thank you, Izzy. Really appreciate your super chat, my friend. And your cocktails and your tickets for the show in Cardiff, as I said, Lizzie, are definitely on me. So don't you go buying any tickets. I'll sort them for you. And of course, if you want to bring a couple of friends along at all, no problem either. Klopp will come back from the Legends game in 10 or 15 years. Imagine Salah, Firmino and VVD all 50 years old. I bet you Salah still have a six-pack. Guarantee it. And I bet you Verge is still going to be a dapper, handsome SOB even at 50 years of age. Let's get back to top of the league on Sunday and stay there for good. Yes, sir. Yes, Vasil. I heard Pep Linders won't be in Liverpool without Jurgen in charge. That's correct. Pep Linders spoke about this previously. He felt like they're a team. You know, himself, Matos, Klopp, they're all a team. And they work together and then they'll depart together and allow the new manager to come in and refresh things. But realistically, let's play, excuse me, fantasy manager for a minute. Let's say Ruben Amorim comes into Liverpool, does 2 years, does okay, but the club decide to move on. Let's just say about that. I can see a world where Pep Linders goes to Ajax, maybe gets them back to the level that they should be at, and then Liverpool look at Pep Linders again, because of course he will have that connection. And I think a job in the meantime before Liverpool would probably be the right move. So I don't know if we've seen the last of Pep Linders at Liverpool. Maybe down the line he comes back. I think it's certainly more likely we see Linders again at Liverpool than Jurgen. My fear is Amorim is another Villas-Boas. I mean, look, there's a risk. I'm not going to sit here and say Ruben Amorim's going to come in and be amazing. Of course, it's a risk. And I guess what we're doing right now is trying to mitigate that risk as much as possible, and that's why such intricate groundwork is being done by Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, Will Spearman, and the others who are conducting the search. Izzy gifted 5 Anfield Agenda memberships. Top lady, Izzy, thank you. How does Ruben have similarities to Klopp as a person? Man management skills. That's what I would say. He is very good at endearing himself to his players, to the fans, and just getting it, if that makes sense to you. Like, if we talk about Jurgen at Liverpool, we'll all say not only does he have the managerial acumen, he just gets it. He gets what it is to be Liverpool manager, and he got it from the minute he came through the door. I think Ruben Amorim's the same type of character. Stylistically, as a manager or a coach, different in the way that they play. But everything I've read on Amorim, and I've said this to you guys over the past few weeks, he just seems to have great bonds with his players. And to win over the Sporting fans, having had that Benfica background, is not easy to do. So I think we've got the potential of a special coach. But there's no guarantees. He's got to come and be successful. But if we can't get Alonso, he's top of my list. And that makes me somewhat confident. But it is a risk. There's always going to be a risk with a new coach. He hugs his players. There you go. I mean, that's all you need, right? Just to hug the old players. So, a little bit about Jurgen Klopp talking about Brighton and this weekend's game. This is what Jurgen had to say on why Brighton are difficult to play against. The way they play, I couldn't coach that. It goes against my personality, but it's a good watch. Very demanding on the players. I find that somewhat ironic, by the way. Klopp talking about another style being demanding on the players. But that's what the coach is doing really well. It's super interesting to see, and I like watching their games. It's just a different way, possession-based, but even more structured from a positional point of view than each player compared to Manchester City, who have a bit more freedom. On their day, they can beat any team, but the good news is we can do that as well. And yes, hopefully our day is this weekend. Because I don't think this is an audition anymore for De Zerbi, because I don't think De Zerbi's under serious consideration. Now, I did say to you earlier on, I'd give you more of an update on Stefan Bajcetic. And of course, Jurgen has also been speaking about our young player that we brought in from Celta Vigo. And this is what he had to say about Stefan. Football brain-wise, he's a natural. He's not lost anything there. But rhythm is something else. He is in partial training with the under-21s and will be in full training with the under-21s next week. Then after that, he will join us in team training. That's the plan. Then we'll see. But the boy grew. He's put a few muscles on and looks good. Connor Bradley didn't need a long time when he was out for a long time. He's a smart kid. I think he'll be fine. But what do I know? I've not been that long injured in that age group. He went on to say he watched a lot of football, but it's not that he played with us regularly. I forgot he played for us early in the season and everything went wrong. But now he's back. I'm really happy for him and for us. So that's kind of the update we got there. It felt like it was just a growing thing where his physique hadn't caught up to the rigours of English football. And it is not unusual to see this with younger players. So I think they just needed to work on him, on his core strength, on his physicality, put on a few more muscles, as Kloppo said. And I think we'll see the benefit of that next season. Craig, what is Amorim's style of play? I mean, very difficult to break that down into a few sentences, but I did try in the Ruben Amorim Everything You Need to Know About video. I know it was during the international break and a lot of you are probably busy doing other things, but I have more detail in that video than I can give you here now. So if you do get a chance, just have a watch of it where I do speak about the style of play in transition, defensively, formations, and how he utilises each player. And I don't have those notes in front of me right now, but if you watch that video, it is only about 8 or 9 minutes long and it's all in there. Right, some more of your comments. Alex, thank you for your super chat. Alex said, I think Amorim could be smart. We always get our second choice and it always pays off. Back three though. So I gotta be honest, Alex, I've been wanting us to play with a back three for a while. I knew it was most likely not going to happen under Jurgen. But when we were looking at Alonso and Amorim, most of the guys, or a good few of them, do play with a back three. So I'm excited by it. It's a modern trend, I guess. It's a bit hipsterish, but I think it'll work for us. And I even think if you look at the fullbacks that we do have, you know, Bradley, Trent, Robbo, Costas, they could absolutely operate as wing backs as well. Centre-back wise, we'll be a little bit short. I do think we'll need to add a couple in over the summer. I'm intrigued to see what happens with Sepp van den Berg because the reports of his loan spell at Mainz have been quite promising. Will he be good enough though to make that step up? Not sure. But if we don't, I'm sure we'll get a few quid from if the club decide to part ways. Will he bring Gonzalo INACIO with him? Maybe, or maybe Diamonde, I don't know. But I like the idea of a back three. I do. I like the idea of us switching it up because we've been so programmed to a 4-3-3 of some variation for so long now that I'm not against it. You know, new manager, new formation, new style, new way to look forward to it. The Mighty Reds, welcome to Anfield Agenda Ultras, buddy. Appreciate your support. Would I take the Sporting striker, said Tracy. No, I don't think he is the right style. Well, actually, do you know what? I say I don't think he's the right style for us, but I guess he is for Ruben Amorim. I just think we have Darwin, we have Diogo, and maybe we play Mo centrally. So, no, I don't think we'd need to raid Sporting for their striker, although I do think he probably gets a move somewhere this summer. Never say never, though. I mean, I don't know what Ruben Amorim's plans would be when he sits down with Richard Hughes. Maybe there's, 2 or 3 players that he'd like to bring in. Do you know the age requirements for the Liverpool show? No, is the honest answer at this moment in time. I don't. I believe now. See, I kind of have an idea, but I don't want to say something and then have to backtrack on it. To the best of my knowledge, at this moment in time, it'll be 16 plus. But leave it with me to confirm. I don't think it'll be any younger than 16, but I do think it's 16 plus. I believe the Cardiff show should be an all ages event, so that should be fine. Belfast, I believe, is going to be an over 18s event, and I'm unsure about the possible Dublin venue. I just have to confirm a few bits and pieces on that. But the first show that will be going on sale will be Belfast, and that show will be taking place on May 31st. Don't want to announce the venue just yet, but tickets should be going on sale on Ticketmaster over the next week or so. So the Belfast show will be an easy one for you to find. Just search on Ticketmaster when it goes on. Brian's back in. Hello, Brian. I didn't think we were going to see you today, mate. I thought you were busy today. I thought today was a busy day for Brian at the weekend, but there he is, gifting 50 Anfield Agenda memberships like a big hero. Much appreciated, Brian. Top man as always. And so I've got something. I was thinking, right? And Brian's generosity has actually just reminded me of it. So I was thinking about a way that we could grow our Discord group and do it in a fair way that isn't based off spending money or anything like that. So this is what I've come up with. Thank you Thursdays. Every Thursday, we're going to pick 5 people out who've been really active, really kind, really helpful in our community online, and give those guys access to the Discord group, where we want to keep it friendly and fun in there, because let's be honest, if you're in our Discord group, you know how nice the people in there are. And we want to make sure that we promote the right type of people. We make sure, and by promote I mean not promote through ranks, but give a thank you to the right type of people. And rather than saying spend money, get here, doesn't feel right. So it still applies that if you are an Anfield Agenda Ultras member, you get immediate access to the Discord group. But we're going to have Thank You Thursdays, where we pick 5 people who we think have been really helpful and really kind to each other and to other members in the community, and we're going to give them the link. Every Thursday we'll do that as I said, Thank You Thursdays. Why do we have the worst pull? We're Liverpool. I don't know what you mean, Mahmood. I don't get this defeatist mentality, bro. I don't. What do you mean by the worst pull? It's not like Alonso chose to go elsewhere. Alonso made probably a tactical decision based on his own career. Another season with Bayer Leverkusen, where he will be in the Champions League, getting a bit more experience, and potentially then a move to Real Madrid, where he'd get to coach Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Endrick, Rodrigo, Camavinga, Tchouameni, Alphonso Davies most likely. So I wouldn't take it as a rejection. It's just more career planning from Xabi Alonso, and honestly I respect him for his decision to stay and see through some of that project with Leverkusen. If he was leaving to go to Bayern or something, honestly I would take that as a bit of a slight, and it would sting. Barry has come in as well. Are you Brian in disguise? Barry, my friend, has gifted 50 Anfield Agenda memberships as well, so that's 100 already tonight. Incredible stuff. I have to say, it's not like I don't ever have any. I don't expect it of anybody, but it is amazing. So thank you. Any chance of a future Boston show? The World Tour, said Davino. It's a tough one. It's a tough one on the Boston show. I hope so, but I don't want to say yes or no. I'm going to apply for a different visa over the next few months. One that will give me a bit more freedom to come in and out of America at various times. And I'll keep you informed as and when that progress happens. A rejection is a rejection no matter how you dress it up. See, the thing is, Dewey, there's something in what you're saying, but it's how you choose it. So there's a phrase that I try to talk to myself about every so often. And it's, if you can't change your situation, change your perspective. And that's what I would say to you here, mate. I'm not a defeatist human being. I don't look at a situation and throw my toys up in the air or out of the pram and go, nah, we're done, we're screwed. I look for solutions. And I look to try and spin things into a positive way if possible. So as I said, we can't change the situation, but we can certainly change our perspective and how we look at the situation. So is it a disappointment not to get Xabi Alonso? Yes. But what do you want us to do? Give up? Stop? Cry about it? It's not going to solve that, is it? We need to make sure that we're proactive, look forward, and be supportive of the new manager coming in. So I'm not a petulant child. In my younger days, I probably would have. I probably would have sulked a bit. I probably would have been a bit more annoyed about it, but I guess I'm at a different stage of life now where I try to look at things with a different perspective. And I just don't want the negativity to seep in. You know, it's very easy for our fan base to go from buzzing to really low, and I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a reason for that. So yeah, I'm going to try and stay on the positive side and get behind whoever the choice is going to be. But I'm not going to lie, mate. It's obviously disappointing, but you know, it is what it is. We're Liverpool Football Club. I've always said the same thing. You shouldn't need to be convinced to come here. You should be begging to come here. That's the way I look at it as a Liverpool fan. Just sucks that this may have been our last chance to get Alonso. Hope I'm wrong. I don't. 2 weeks ago, there was a lot of people saying Alonso's okay, but I have doubts because of X, Y, and Z. And at the time I said, I understand your doubts. I think he's a great coach, and I think he would do a fine job, and I still do. But he's not the be all and end all. And I don't know if he'll ever have the opportunity to come back as Liverpool manager, or if he ever will become Liverpool manager. I don't know the answer to that. But this is the best way we could be rejected, if you want to put it in that way. And look, has it tainted my view of Alonso a little bit? Yeah, it probably has. I still love him, but maybe our pulling power for him isn't as strong as we believed. Or maybe it is just a straight career decision. I don't know. Unless we see him address the Liverpool side of it, we may never know. Jack Howe said, I agree with the other super chat. Unfortunately, I love my club, but it almost feels like we never get major transfers over the line. It's odd. I can think of two that we poo-pooed the bed on. Bellingham stings for me, and the Werner one was a weird one because it just felt like we didn't really have the money to pay the money. And now, by the way, let me just say, when we're talking about transfers of players, I very much would get behind pushing for better and more money to be available to the manager. I think I look at these two situations slightly differently. With the coach, it's about getting the right guy, and he will be affordable. But when it comes to players, the jury's still out for me with FSG. And I do still have concerns about John W. Henry being a tight ass. So I would again say, not where's the money, John, but there best be money, John. Because I know what's happened at the Red Sox. Come in, initial success, and then it's tailed off. That can't happen with Liverpool Football Club. We've only just gotten back to the top table, and we need to carry on being successful. So yeah, I hope the new manager's backed, and if he isn't backed, I promise you I won't be backwards about coming forwards and speaking out about it, because that's a different situation for me to the coach. Brian, thank you for your super chats again, mate. He said, as disappointing as it is to not get Xabi, we do have to be encouraged that there are still people who exist that value loyalty and integrity. 100%. 100%. And I said all the way through the process, Brian, I can't tell you what Xabi Alonso will do, but if he stays at Leverkusen, I'll respect that, because he's in a job, you know. I know we want him to depart, pack up and come to Liverpool, but he's seen through a project there, and as you said, you got to respect that. That said, Xabi is dead to me, he finished up with. Yeah, look, I'm not going to lie. A little bit of Xabi's gloss has been taken off for me. That, I guess, is my little bit of pettiness in there. Let's be honest, Jude went for the big pay. Yeah, I think I've seen mixed numbers of his contract, ranging from 200 and something grand to 450 grand. But look, that one hurt. I won't lie to you. That Bellingham transfer stung like hell, because I felt like we did act like pussies in that situation. There's no reason we can't spend money, says Madeni, as we've been very successful thus far. Well, we did have a season out of the Champions League this season, so I think that's a blot in the copybook. But we've also been fairly decent with money, and there is money to spend. I mean, don't be under any illusions that we haven't got money to spend. There is money to spend. It's just whether John cuts the check or not. Now, one thing to consider here is Jurgen Klopp came in and was always willing to work within the parameters of what FSG wanted and never really spoke out against the owners. Nothing to say Amorim's not going to come in and be a bit more forceful or what's the other phrase I'm looking for here? Demanding of more money, because, you know, if we want to be a top club, yes, there's only so much we can do to be clever and not waste money, but we also have to act like a top club, and sometimes that involves paying the money. I'm still back and forth on the whole Caicedo thing, because technically they were putting up the money, but they never actually had to spend that money in the end. So it is strange, because again, 115 million would have been the club's biggest ever transfer, but we didn't have to pay it in the end. So they don't get the credit for that as much, and nor should they. Craig, would you have rathered Bellingham or McAllister, Szoboszlai and Endo? I think our need was greater for 3 rather than 1. Yeah, so I think what we did was probably money better spent, because it's given us more wiggle room in that area of the pitch, and some good quality players as well. Southgate is a yes man, and FSG would love to have him. The fans would revolt, and you don't need to worry about that. If Gareth Southgate was even considered for the Liverpool manager's job, don't worry about that, mate. It wouldn't last long. I promise you. Culturally, there's not a hope in hell of Southgate coming in to manage Liverpool. Not a chance. If we're looking for that Salah replacement, look no further than Trincao. He's been sick today in the Sporting game. 2 goal involvements. I've watched quite a bit this season of Sporting and a little bit of Benfica. Not so much of Porto. Mainly because I was looking to keep an eye on Antonio Silva of Benfica, and also to see what way Amorim's teams play. And look, I'm more than confident of Amorim coming in to be our next coach. Will he have the pulling power? I guess that's going to be interesting. But I mean, if it's not going to be Amorim, who else? I can't really think of anyone that would work, or that would get me excited. Is probably a better fit. Craig, have you been to Electric Picnic? No, which is crazy, because I used to live fairly close to Stradbally. But no, I never went to Electric Picnic, and I think its best years are probably behind it now from some of the lineups I've seen. I hope Leverkusen blow that 10-point lead. I don't. I mean, just as a football fan, seeing Bayern be gazumped by a team that have never won a Bundesliga title yet, I think that would be lovely for German football, for European football. So yeah, no, I want Leverkusen to go on and win the league. I hate the old established clubs. There's nothing more demeaning than looking at Barca and Real Madrid winning La Liga after La Liga, or Juve winning Serie A after Serie A for so long, and Bayern winning Bundesliga after Bundesliga. It's boring. So I want football to be shaken up a bit, and Leverkusen breaking through, fair play. How do I pronounce this one? Oh God, Ionate Stas. I'm sorry if I've mispronounced that. Over 2 years, De Zerbi lost Cucurella, Bissouma, Trossard, Mope, Sanchez, McAllister, Caicedo for 280 million. All remaining candidates are risky now. Yes, I'm not going to disagree with you. Every managerial candidate there was risky, but I would have said Alonso was risky as well. Maybe we feel a bit more comfortable with Alonso because we know him a bit more. But you are right, and I'm not going to deny that. There is inherent risk involved in every decision now for the next coach. Brian Moylan, how are you, sir? Watching in the Dacia. Said, great show watching in Waterford. Appreciate you, sir. Was Anton Ferdinand as good as Rio? Not even close. Rio was a Rolls Royce. Anton Ferdinand, I would say, more a good, stable family hatchback. How much do you think the new manager needs in the first transfer window? Good question, Carl, but one that again is difficult to answer right now. My concern after the manager is the 3 big contracts that are up for renewal. Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mohamed Salah. And I'm going to give you my prediction. It isn't anything that I'm saying is going to 100% happen, but you know me, I'm not afraid to give you a strong opinion. I think this summer Salah gets sold. And I think that even more so since Michael Edwards came back in. It isn't because I don't think Salah's good enough or I don't think he has years left at the top level. I just think that Michael Edwards will view this as the right time to sell and recoup money. So I expect Salah, unfortunately, to be sold. Trent, 100% new contract. Future captain of the football club, and I can't see it being an issue. Verge, I hope this is where some common sense is used. Because you could pull Verge into that category as well of latter years, but he's the club captain, and if anything, he's better this year than last year. So I think, and I hope, that Verge gets an extension. But, you know, I'm really worried about Salah leaving. I think it is going to happen this summer. And my fears about that have only increased since Michael Edwards came back. And my point about De Zerbi, he's lost many players. He has, but my point about De Zerbi is a cultural one. I just don't look at Roberto De Zerbi and think Liverpool manager. I don't. I know that's weird and petty and it doesn't really do justice to his career, but I can't lie, I just don't see him as Liverpool manager. There was a post somebody put in yesterday that I'm trying to find that Connor sent me that kind of sums it up. I'm just trying to find it here, the one that Connor sent. One sec, because it's a bit petty, but it actually works. This person said, I've never watched Amorim Sporting play a single game, but I don't like De Zerbi's haircut, so he's now my top choice by default. I'm not against that, to be fair. There's something about De Zerbi that just, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just not it for me. Personally, Amorim winning at 10 farts. Now, be fair, Alex. 10 farts is very unfair, mate. It's 10 lasso. So, I'll correct that for you. Amorim winning at 10 lassos, Old Trafford. Us Cork Reds will be there. Also, who would replace Diaz? I don't think we have to. I don't think we'd have to replace Diaz because the system doesn't really rely on wingers the way Amorim plays it. So I think you could sell Diaz and bring in another number 10 perhaps. But yeah, I think, look, Diaz's father, one, needs to shut up. And two, you know, if an offer comes in at the club team, I think he would be sold, yeah. But I don't think anybody in Spain will have the money to pay Liverpool what they'd ask for Lucho. Your daily Sobus lover, thank you for upgrading to Anfield Agendas. Ultras as a membership, mate. Appreciate you. De Zerbi just doesn't have the aura, said Nick. Yeah, he doesn't have the machismo, the gravitas. That's probably the word I'm looking for. But he's a great coach. Great coach, but yeah, I just don't see it happening. What's this one? Oh yeah, have you seen this new rule? Mark's just reminded me of it. I meant to speak about it yesterday. So the Premier League have introduced a new rule mid-season where ball boys can no longer give the balls to players. They have to place them on cones on the side of the pitch, and then the players go and collect them from the cones. I can kind of understand why they do it, because I guess even ball boys now are being utilised tactically by some clubs to slow down giving the ball back or hurry up giving it back. But now they're multi-ball system. They want them putting the balls on top of cones. Acentino said, still think that we're not discussing Nagelsmann more. I think he'd be dynamite in Liverpool. Well, it's been put out there today, mate, that he's not going to be part of the search. Chris Bascom said, it is unlikely that Julian Nagelsmann becomes Liverpool manager. So that's why we're not talking about him, mate, because he's not been strongly considered, according to Chris Bascom, who, you know, to me is a very fine journalist. And thank you, sir, for also gifting 5 Anfield Agenda memberships. Really kind of you, dude. Appreciate that. That's really petty. I don't care. It's if we're talking about me and not rating him in that way, that's my opinion on it. I mean, I'm not telling you your opinion's petty or not, but you know, we're all entitled to them, and I can only tell you what I hear, what I read, what I know, and all signs have pointed to Amorim. Look at the content I've produced over the last few weeks, and you'll see a pretty clear trend. Amorim's been involved in a lot of it, because I was hearing quite a bit in the background that Amorim is highly regarded, blah, blah, blah. But I always thought, and this is my own ignorance, that it was if Alonso doesn't work out. But I still thought Alonso was the guy. But apparently, quite a while back now, Liverpool knew that it wasn't going to be Alonso. So, they weren't getting the right signals, the right vibes. So they expanded their search, and Amorim's the one that seems to be scoring the highest on the metrics they're using to look for a new manager. Give it to Gerrard. Please don't. Please, for the love of God, don't. Right, what was this I was going to say? Just making sure I've gone through all my notes. 1 second. What's this one? Yeah, I've done that one. Here's a weird one that the Times wrote an article on. Premier League clubs are under fire for using fan boards for their own PR. So again, Premier League clubs under fire for using fan boards for their own PR. 16 months after fan advisory boards became mandatory in the wake of the failure of the European Super League, there were questions about the control some top 5 clubs have. So, fans were put on boards in a lot of Premier League clubs, and the Times reckon that these same people are being manipulated into doing the board's bidding for them, which would not surprise me in the slightest, because, football clubs are massive hypocrites a lot of the time. They portray this outlook to the world of being bastions of morality. Truth of the matter is, there's quite a few shithouses behind the scenes in football clubs doing some very questionable things. Yeah, and the hypocrisy of football clubs never ceases to amaze me. You don't care. That's an awesome response. Keep being honest. I am who I am, mate. I get to the point quite quickly. I don't ever mean to offend. Does Amorim remind you of a Jose copy? Just get that feel. Not sure if it's Chelsea's Jose or Man United's Jose. No, I don't get that feel about him. I think he carries himself with a bit more grace than Jose Mourinho. But I keep coming back to what I said yesterday and what I said previously. I feel like it's a changing of the guard moment in football coaches at the minute. A lot of the coaches these days that we're seeing coming through are younger coaches that are starting to move towards getting these big jobs. You've got Gary O'Neill in England who's progressing well. Obviously Xabi Alonso, Ruben Amorim. Before that you had Graham Potter. It's the next generation now of coaches, and I guess football clubs are trying to find the next Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, Arsene Wenger, Alex Ferguson, or whoever. And that will involve some risks. So I feel better that we're looking to a younger, more innovative manager than maybe a steady guiding hand of an older manager. Ranić as interim. At United, Jens, apparently. Not at Liverpool, but he is being... No, sorry, Ranić has been linked. Sorry, not at United, Jens. Sorry, I'm confusing myself. Bayern Munich is a potential destination for Ralf Ranić. Where's Amorim from? Portugal. Portugal, mate. He came through the Benfica Academy when he was younger, and that's what makes it all the more intriguing to see him now Sporting Lisbon manager and adored by the fans. Where are we dropping points next? Said Daniel Roberts. Good question, Daniel. I think we get 9 points from the next 3 games, and that does include our trip to Old Trafford. Where are we going to drop points next? Probably away from home, and probably in a stupid game where we shouldn't be dropping points. I don't think it'll be your Villas or your Spurs. I think it'll be something frustrating. But I'm concerned about Sunday because, we haven't spoken much about the refereeing and VAR operators, but David Coote as referee and Paul Tierney as VAR, that doesn't fill me full of confidence. That makes me feel like we're about to get shafted. Do you think Real tapped up Alonso? Yes. Yes, I do. I don't know that, but you didn't ask me if I knew it. You said, do I think? And yeah, I do. I think they've looked at the situation. Xabi's looked at the situation. And they've probably both come to a similar conclusion. Xabi will get a year's experience in the Champions League with Bayer Leverkusen. It will feel like he's not departed them then and, left them after a year. Real get to say goodbye to Carlo Ancelotti. They've rebuilt that team as well. And yeah, I do. I don't know anything. I'm not saying I've heard stuff, but my feeling is you're probably not too far off, Carl. Fulham away, a lot of people are thinking there for potential points. Maybe we get distracted by the swimming pool that they're building on top of Craven Cottage. But yeah, that'll be a difficult game. Fulham are a team that has managed to get at us occasionally. We spoke about Anthony Robinson quite a lot. And Fulham away could be a tricky game, definitely. Why aren't we talking about Inzaghi as a potential successor to Klopp? So there's been a few articles written about Inzaghi and the possibility of coming across. I don't know any more than that. I don't know why he's not been mentioned more or anything like that. I've seen him in a few places being linked tentatively to the Liverpool job, but I don't know the answer, mate, is the truth. I don't know why he isn't more prominent in the search. But he's certainly an impressive coach. If Xabi Alonso goes to Madrid next year, then he's not wanted when he had a chance to join. I'm kind of that petty as well, Robbie, mate. I'm not going to lie. For me now, this is you had your chance, Xabi. I look at it this way. As a Liverpool fan, through Liverpool fans' eyes, with someone who's quite petty, I look at it and go, yes, you've had the chance now. You were offered the Liverpool job to come in after Jurgen Klopp. Some could view that as a negative. I view it as you're getting a good squad and some great young players. And yeah, you turned down the call. So am I petty enough to say don't want him back at any point? If he goes to Madrid like that, then yeah, I am kind of that petty. Because if he ever does come back, I won't buy a single bit of the I love the club stuff. It'll just feel like that's PR at that point. So yeah, I'm kind of with you, mate. I don't think the club will look at it that way, by the way. I don't think the club will say now or never, but I'm kind of that type of guy as well. As I keep saying, I don't think anybody need to be convinced to come to Liverpool Football Club, and that includes Xabi Alonso. I would love Spalletti. Thought he was great at Napoli. I'm not a fan of Spalletti. For him, I think he's a good Italian football coach, but I don't know if he'd make that transition across to the Prem. Did Liverpool actually approach Alonso though? Tentatively, but the vibes coming back was never like a come get me plea. If you hear me, it was more like non-committal, and they felt it maybe from. I'm just speaking about what some journalists have been writing. They never got the signals that it was a formality or that he wanted to come. So Liverpool have looked away. It is annoying, I know, because we were all kind of in on the Alonso thing. But let me just say this. Don't listen to any of the crap from opposition fans on social media who take great pleasure in any minor negative towards our football club and try to jump all over it and make out that we're a laughing stock. Be under no mistake. They do it for one reason and one reason only. Is they're worried. They're worried about Liverpool, and they were worried about Alonso being the next manager. So let's let them have their moment. We'll regroup. The next manager will come in, and we need to finish this season strongly, lift that Europa League title, lift that Premier League title, and give Jurgen the send-off he deserves. And then we'll look ahead to the next coach. But don't let these clowns get under your skin. They wouldn't be talking about us if they weren't worried. Why would Gerrard be bad? Ask Aston Villa fans. His coaching acumen just isn't there. You know, he did a great job in Rangers, but what really I think showed up Gerrard quite a bit was how much more successful the next manager that came into Villa. Unai Emery came in and was, you know, really showed very quickly that with those players he could get more out of them. And Gerrard just hasn't shown enough to be anywhere near the conversation. And I think, you know, heading over the Saudi like you did, let's be honest, nobody's going to go, oh, you've done okay in Saudi, well let's have the Liverpool job. It's not going to happen. So Gerrard needs to rebuild before he's looked at again. Announce that Darwin stat again. Yeah, 1 second. Let me just go back to my notes for you. 1 sec, mate. Right. So, according to Squawka and ESPN, in a recent analysis along with Opta, Darwin Núñez is the best striker in English football with a score of 78%. The criteria in question was XG without penalties, goals, assists, expected assists, big chances created, completed possession, possession won in the final quarter, shots placed, accuracy of shots, percentage of shots that ended up in the goal, and touches in the rival opposition area. So yes, there you go. Darwin Núñez is statistically, according to that little bit of research anyway, the best striker in English football. And I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. And thank you, Izzy, for the Darwin Núñez super chat. Didn't Xabi come straight from the Middle East to Barcelona? No. Oh, Xavi Hernandez. He went to Japan. Was it Xavi at Japan or... No, you're right. He was in the Middle East somewhere. But I don't know if you're trying to make that the comparable link for Gerrard, because Xavi Hernandez hadn't shit the bed at Atletico or at Aston Villa. So Gerrard had a shot at a Premier League team and showed that he was very much out of his depth. And then Unai Emery came in and performed better. So it was Qatar. There you go. Qatar is where Xavi Hernandez was. But he was always over there with a view to coming back to Barcelona. I told people a year before his appointment that he was going to be the next Barcelona manager. So I don't think it's a comparable thing, really. And also, you wouldn't say it's been a roaring success for Xavi. Now, I know he's won a La Liga title, but this season they're up and down. And of course, the financial situation there is somewhat responsible for that as well. Would I do a charity match if I was offered the chance? I wouldn't play, Jamie. No, I'm 42 now, mate. Those days are done. Would I coach a charity game? Yes, it would. Yes, in theory, yes. Craig, here's a hot take. While he was at Spurs, I'd have taken Poch as a Klopp replacement. So would I. While he was at Spurs and after the job he did at Southampton, yeah, I probably would have as well. But after those jobs, no, definitely not. They're second now, though. They are, but it's a shit league. Like, again, Barca are second, absolutely. But they're not going to win it. And they're not going to win the Champions League. And let's be honest, even looking at the Barca team, it's up and down. And look, again, I don't know why this conversation is going to Barcelona and Xavi. The only, I guess, crossover there was somebody saying that, you know, Xavi came from the Middle East back to manage Barcelona. But look, nobody wants Gerrard to be the Liverpool manager. And we all should. But being realistic, we know it's not a good fit now. Mane or Diaz? Mane. My brother-in-law is Portuguese, lifelong Sporting fan. He's paying their manager, or he's praying their manager doesn't go to us. He said what he has done at Sporting is amazing despite Benfica spending millions more. And that's one of the reasons he's attractive to FSG. He's outperformed his budgets, outperformed the opposition, as you've said there. And that, of course, makes him appealing to John W. Henry. Now, should we be a little bit concerned about that? Perhaps. Whilst it's not a bad thing to outperform and do better than your budget should allow you to do, we don't want it to be a sign that FSG are going to be scabby and FSG aren't going to give the manager financial backing. Because if that's the case, then, you know, we need to be vocal again. So, yes, that is a concern. It is part of a concern, definitely. Would I have taken Gerrard after Rangers? No. I would have said, go to another club in England, see how you get on. Actually, I thought, realistically, when he took the Villa job, I thought, this is it now. He's been at Rangers, going to Villa. If he does well at Villa, when Jurgen departs, maybe Steven Gerrard's that guy. So I did think that was going to be his pathway, but it went south very quickly at Villa, and I think he's fallen away for the time being anyway. Sporting will double his wages. And? So we're now trying to make out that Sporting can outpay Liverpool. Is that what we're trying to say? Like, Sporting will pay Amorim more, so he won't come. I'll say the same as I said about Alonso or anyone else. If he needs convincing to come to Liverpool, he ain't the guy. But I don't think he will. And I don't think Sporting will be able to refuse him the opportunity. What we do know is that he has a buyout clause. So Liverpool have a fee that can stop Sporting from being able to deny the opportunity. If the manager wants to move, we pay the fee and we get the manager. If he doesn't, then we have another conversation. I think Southgate would be a good option. I don't. And nobody else in the chat does. Southgate's a puppet, a muppet. And it just imagine having to listen to him droning on every week. And probably trying to convince us that he wants to bring Hendo back as well, you know. I mean, not a chance I'd want Southgate near the Liverpool job. Do you think Sir Kenny Dalglish could be a good manager for Liverpool? Not again, no. I think football's moved too far along now since Kenny's time, and, you know, he's earned to put his feet up and be an ambassador and, you know, represent the club in other ways. But, you know, we were blessed to have Kenny Dalglish involved in the football club in every facet. And, yeah, let's look forward. No need to look back. Look forward. I trust Edwards to get us the right man to do the job. Let's move on from Xabi's decision because we can't do anything to change his mind. Yeah, I agree with you. And we do have to look forward. And we have to look to the future. And that future is going to be with... I mean, I'm still processing the Jurgen Klopp leaving part. I won't lie to you. Like, that's still... I'm almost living in denial about the situation because we still have a few months to go with Jurgen. But honest to God, it's still going to be a difficult one to process. Barry, how are you again, sir? Thank you for the super chat. Said, hey Craig, most of Darwin's glitch has been at home missing sitters, looking at his stats, but he's improved massively the last 2 months and I think he will improve more. Scores early on Sunday and we win well, in my opinion. Sign me up for that, Barry. I went for a 2-0 victory in my preview, and of course I would love you guys to check it out if you get the chance and let me know your thoughts on it, but I think we win. I think we're getting players back from injury at a good time as well. And I don't think we can have any excuses now in the run-in. It's head down, one game at a time, all the old cliches, but there's 2 massive months ahead for us now. And we've a game Sunday, a game Wednesday, and a game next weekend. And let's hope we've got 9 points by the end of it and hopefully have a little cushion at the top of the Premier League table. Now that we know Alonso's not coming, what are the minimum expectations from the new manager? Mine is top 4 finish and let him settle knowing the ins and outs of the club and understanding the culture. I think that's fair. I think if I was to give my wants for the next manager for next season, it would be, like you said, make sure we're qualifying for the Champions League again. Make sure we have a decent run in the Champions League next season. You know, domestic cups are always a little bit of a lottery depending on draws and stuff. But as long as I want to see top 4. I think top 3. As long as we're somewhere in the top 3. And in with a chance in the Champions League, you never know. So I think that's fair. I mean, if we were to say it's league title or nothing, I think that's impossible to guarantee with anybody. So yeah, as long as we don't slip back into those Europa League places, I think Amorim will, or whoever the coach will be, will get that time. Hey Craig, love what you do. Thank you, Danny. You're really kind. 251k subs is amazing. I'd like us to get Amorim. Do you think it helps get INACIO if we do that? Yes, I very much do. Look, it couldn't do any harm, could it? Because one, nobody's going to know INACIO as well as Amorim when it comes to a coach. Two, INACIO looks up to Amorim, and it's a position we need. And it's a player we've been linked with previously. So, yeah, I do think it's quite possible for the two of them. But keep an eye on Diamonde as well, because he's another Sporting centre-back that's in quite high demand. So I put on a sneaky bet for this weekend. I couldn't help myself. I stuck on, I think it was £2 on Joe Gomez at 80-1 to score from outside the box. I don't know why, but I just said do it. So yeah, I've taken a punt on Joe Gomez to score from outside the box. And of course I've got my usual Virgil van Dijk header as well. Now, my friends, with the Premier League being back this weekend, no better time to download the app from our great friends at SofaScore. In my opinion, it's the best sports app, not just football app, sports app currently on the market. It's entirely free. It gives you the fastest goal updates, gives you their scores, of course. We're going to use them to contrast and compare with my own player ratings moving forward as well. It's free to download. Every one of you that downloads the SofaScore app, we do get a little bit of financial help from SofaScore for that. So if you want to help us out and get yourself a really cool top level app, download SofaScore from the link in the description of this stream, or you can scan that QR code on the screen there, and it really does help us out. Tomorrow, we're not going to be live at all. Tomorrow's day off for everybody at Anfield Agenda, so because we're going to have such a hectic Sunday. Sunday, we're going to be live from 1 p.m. So we're going to take you right through till 4 o'clock to the end of the Liverpool-Brighton game. Then we're going to take a little break for 10 minutes, come straight back on with Manchester City versus Arsenal, again right here on Anfield Agenda. Then we'll do our match reaction and player rating. So we're going to be live pretty much from 1 o'clock till about 7, half 7 on Sunday. So it's going to be a long day, lots of content back to back, and that's why we're giving the lads the day off tomorrow to let them rest up ahead of what's going to be a crazy end to the season. We love SofaScore, says Izzy. Thank you, Izzy. And yeah, they're great to work with. They're really nice guys. Love the way their business is developing. Love the app. And we have a nice surprise coming up as well for you guys. We are very close to showing our new back-end system, which will allow us to do lots of fun stuff. It will allow me to drag players around the formations on the pitch, click on players and bring up different levels of statistics about the in-game performance of the players. It will allow us to bring super chats and all comments and put them up on screen directly. Lots of really cool, innovative stuff that we're working on with our friends at Lineup Builder, and we hope to have that ready in the next week to 10 days. And again, it's always with a view to making the shows more interactive, giving you guys more information, and just trying to make the shows as enjoyable as we can. It's the biggest outlay we've ever had as a channel as well. We've invested quite a chunk into this technology. So yeah, that's going to be ready to go soon, and I'm really excited by it. As well as the live shows that we've got coming up as well. Belfast, 31st of May. They're going to go on sale next week. Liverpool, Cardiff, very close to being announced. Maybe a Dublin show. Do a double drink day. 7 hours is enough to do one each time. Yes, and don't forget as well, actually, and thank you for reminding me about that. Don't forget about Thank You Thursdays that we're going to start from next Thursday. every week we're going to pick 5 people that have been really kind to each other, to us in the chat, and have been active in the streams, and we're going to give them access to our Discord group as a little thank you, so that they don't have to become ultra members or whatever. We want to build up the Discord. We want to fill it full of the right type of people, and it's our way to say a little thank you to you guys for your continued support as well. So every Thursday is going to be Thank You Thursdays. Craig, how was the Boston show? Yeah, it was amazing, Finn. Yeah, amazing. Somebody else want to tell Finn? Cardiff, whoop whoop. Just waiting to hear back. We have a provisional booking for Cardiff, Izzy. We're just waiting to hear back on one little detail, and then we'll announce that Cardiff show. Good that I missed most of the stream. I haven't watched one live in so long. Always have to watch the replays. Well, hopefully we catch you soon, Kieran. I'm sure we will. But look, my friends, I'm going to say goodnight to you all. I'm going to go spend some time with the missus, and I will see you on Sunday. There will be a couple of clips videos out tomorrow, but we will be live from 1 o'clock on Sunday, taking you right through to about 7:30. So, before you head off, do drop a like on the stream if you'd be so kind. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so. And again, have a great weekend. Stuff yourselves full of chocolate. Enjoy your Easter. We'll catch up with you on Sunday. And thank you again for your support tonight. It means a lot. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.